The Nintendo Switch has been out for nearly 2 years and has been consistently selling well ever since its launch. And there's a reason. It's great. Nintendo really nailed it here, producing a well-made, actually fun console, unlike the Wii U. Hey, how's it going? I'm Josh from 91 Tech, and today we're taking another look at the Nintendo Switch. How does it hold up in 2019, and is it still worth buying? Short answer, yes, the Switch is still worth buying. It's an awesome and fun console, one the whole family will enjoy. There's quite a lot of games for it at this point, many from Nintendo themselves, and there's really not much reason to hold off from purchasing it. There have been a couple rumors of an upgraded version coming this year, kind of like the new 3DS that happened, but that hasn't been confirmed, and I don't think it matters either way. A newer Switch might be a bit better, but it'll play the same games, and I highly doubt it would be much different, assuming it even comes out at all. So basically I'm saying you probably don't need to wait. And don't wait for a discount either. Sales aren't really something that happens with the Switch, at least for the consoles. So again, if you want it, I'd pick it up. And if you do want to buy it, by the way, I will link the best deals I can find on Amazon in the description down below. But yeah, that's gonna be my conclusion. The Switch is a great console, will bring a ton of fun, is worth buying, and has very few flaws. Not that there aren't any flaws. Firstly, the Switch obviously isn't nearly as powerful as the Xbox One or PS4. This is somewhat irrelevant in my opinion, as it's a literal tablet, but it is worth noting. If you want pure graphical power, the Switch isn't going to be for you, not that games can't look good. Zelda Breath of the Wild, for example, is a beautiful game due to the art style, and really any game on here looks pretty good thanks to the mix between 720 and 1080p, typically depending on whether or not you're docked. The dock itself is pretty simple, you just plop the Switch in and you're done. It'll kind of pop up on the TV, and it's really easy to use. Don't have too many complaints with it. Other than that, it does feel a little cheap, and people do scratch their Switches when putting it in sometimes, so try to be careful with that. Battery life isn't amazing, usually lasting around 4 hours, but when you consider the caliber of the games you're playing, I'd say there isn't really any room to complain here. I mean, you're playing full console games on this little tablet, you can't expect the battery to last forever. You can charge the Switch with USB-C, which was a great inclusion, and so if you have like a MacBook or something, it'll work with the same charger. Well, a newer MacBook anyway. The kickstand doesn't let you stand up the Switch and charge it at the same time. This might be a kind of a petty complaint, but that does show you how little I have to whine about the Switch. It's a great console for a multitude of reasons, and the shortcomings are massively outweighed by the pros. But let's take a closer look at the console, starting with the controllers. Not everyone likes the included Joy-Cons, as they're quite small and a bit weirdly shaped, but you can attach them with this to make them feel more like a normal controller. The best feature they bring is that each one can turn into a controller by itself. It's especially handy if you have a lot of people over when you're playing Mario Kart or Smash Brothers. Put on the strap and you have bumpers. It's smart design, and I really appreciate that. You can also always get the Nintendo Switch Pro controller instead if you'd rather. It's a bit cheaper than a pair of Joy-Cons, and is especially great in more normal feeling games like Zelda Breath of the Wild. It's essentially an Xbox controller, and so there's not much to complain about. It does look a little bit boring in my opinion, but the feel and quality of the controller more than makes up for that. The biggest issue I have with all the controllers for the Switch is how expensive they are. Joy-Cons will run you around $80, and that just seems absurd to me, especially considering how easily you can find PS4 and Xbox One controllers for almost half of that. Luckily, there are occasional sales, so if you need to pick up a controller, I'd wait for one of those. If you're interested, I'll have some controllers from Amazon linked in the description, as they seem to have deals the most often of anywhere I've seen. The UI of the Switch is fine. It's pretty basic, which I appreciate, and doesn't have any of the unnecessary complexity of the Wii U, and so I guess that's nice. The Switch itself has 32 gigabytes of included storage, which isn't a ton, especially if you're going to be downloading games, but you can get a micro SD card to increase the space up to 2 terabytes. Any micro SD card will work, which is great, especially because of some companies in the past, like Sony, requiring you buy their own proprietary card with, say, the Vita. The speakers on the Switch are good enough, in my opinion. They don't get extremely loud, but they're fairly clear, and there's also, of course, a headphone jack anyways, which I would say almost everybody would rather use that instead. So far, we've only we talked about the Switch's hardware, and it's fine for what it is. The portable aspect is really cool, and the first of its kind to be properly implemented. And honestly, there's no feeling like playing the Switch on the bus or on the go, on a road trip, anywhere. It's really cool. But what really matters is the games, and luckily the games are extremely good. Nintendo's never needed the best hardware to make the best games, and by golly, they've done it again. We have so many great titles on here, such as Breath of the Wild, Super Mario Odyssey, Mario Kart 8, Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu, and Eevee, although Eevee is obviously the superior one, and so many more, including the absolutely amazing Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Seriously, this game is so much fun, and I just can't put it down. The Switch is honestly worth buying just for these games if you're a Nintendo fan, or maybe have a family, or really just for almost anybody. The Switch is like the only current gen console that properly supports couch co-op games so you can play with friends in the same room, and in my opinion, the pain of getting screwed over in Mario Party by pure dumb luck is worth the rewards of being able to play with people you enjoy spending time with. You can't really do that on the PS4, at least not in very many games, except for online, and that's just not the same. The game library is amazing for one that's only been around for 2 years, and I've only mentioned Nintendo games. You got games like Sonic Mania, Skyrim, Xenoblade Chronicles 2, heck, even Fortnite's on the Switch. But before I get ahead of myself here by just gushing over the Switch for too long, how much does it actually cost? Because just because it has good games, that doesn't mean it's worth it, especially if it's overpriced, right? Well, turning to Amazon.com, we can see it typically goes for $300, which honestly is pretty fair. That's similar to, if maybe a little bit more, to what the PS4 and Xbox One S costs, but it's a newer console, and again, you're getting that portability aspect. There aren't usually sales on the Switch, but I'll put a link to the best deals I can find in the description down below. Let's be real here, there's a reason the Nintendo Switch has been selling out in the holiday seasons. It's great, and there aren't a lot of flaws. If you're not a person who enjoys Nintendo or prefers games with crazy graphics, then this isn't for you, and you might be better suited to the PS4 or Xbox One, and that's fine. Buy what you like, right? But if you do like Nintendo consoles, or want something for the kids, or just want gaming on the go, the Switch is a no-brainer, and I can't recommend it enough. It's so much fun, and Nintendo really went all out with this thing, and it's only going to get better from here. While there might be a slightly updated version coming this year, as some rumors have pointed to, I would say it really isn't worth waiting for because it's probably not going to be that much better. And it might cost more money too, and the Switch isn't cheap as is, so if you want it right now, just go for it. But if you want to wait till, you know, the holidays this year, that's fair too. And with that, I think I'm pretty much done here. Do you own the Switch? Do you want one? Let me know in the comments down below. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video or found it helpful, maybe hit that like button and consider subscribing for more content just like this. If you want some more tech in your life, you can always follow me at 91_tech on Instagram and Twitter. And with that all being said, I'm Josh from 91 Tech, and I will see you all next time.